everyone, it's Kariana, your favorite witchy coach. Before I get started with the video, I want to remind you guys that all of my information for coaching will be down in the description box below. So go check that out. I would love to help you on your journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so I can reach as many people as I can on this channel. Okay, guys, so this has been a requested video. Again, I promised you guys I would get to it. I'm going to be talking about anxiety and manifesting. We had a subscriber reach out and ask me to talk about the subject because she's having like panic attacks every day, anxiety attacks every day. Her question was, what do you do in those moments? What do you do when you're having those and they're, consistent and they're taking over, or they seem to be taking over, right? And it becomes your story that now you're anxious or you're panicky or whatever. It becomes hard to manifest with that going on. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, right? I know the story. And I know that I'm not alone in that journey. I have pretty much, erased my anxiety story now, but I mean, it comes back. I see the old story come back every once in a while, and I have to really knock it down. But I really do believe that my new story of not being anxious, being calm, being confident, being safe, is all really hardening in the fact. And what I always say, repetition is key. So just keep that in mind with this. I know that anxiety can be tough when you're having anxiety attacks and they seem to be happening all the time and coming up. You must have a story, right, around the fact that you're not safe, or you can not be living in your I am state and you're stepping into your power. A lot of times we experience anxiety, right? Like from, our traumas that we haven't taken care of, which, we don't need to focus on that too much, especially if, the traumas come from childhood. We have to remember that, we were unconscious doing the things that we did, manifesting our parents to maybe not be such good parents, or the people around us, our environment, how people treated us going into adulthood. We have to remember that, that is our story. It is part of our trauma. But looking back on that, you need to be able to release that in a healthy way by saying that was my story. And I remember when that was happening. I remember when I manifested those things. I remember when I pushed that out. But I was unconscious, I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. And now I'm here. I'm conscious now. I'm a conscious creator. I'm in the present moment and I'm letting that dissolve. I'm letting that go. And repetition with that, every single time that comes up in your mind, that'll really knock out a lot of anxiety. I think a lot of people that come to me, I know a lot of people that come to me are holding on to the past. And when you're holding on to the past, when you're holding on to anything that involves you, SP, whatever you're trying to manifest, an old story, it just gets drudged up and drug along with you. And then your mind starts ruminating on that. And it's really actually an illusion that is your story now, because in the present moment, that that's not. And 3 seconds ago, I always say, it was the past. So we need to be able to release those things and let that go. And like I said, repetition with that is key, recognizing and not fearing anything that comes up that you've manifested. I say this all the time. I've been saying this for years on this channel. Guys, don't fear anything, because whatever you fear has control over you. Okay. And anxiety is rooted in fear. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's about. It's fear. It's the fear of the unknown, the fear of what has happened, right? And it happening again, not feeling confident in your power, not feeling calm and safe in your current environment, your present environment. You have to remember that, we need to be able to really flip these things and turn these things around in the present moment and really step into our power. Because without that, if we keep telling ourselves this old story about, the fact that we're not safe, we're not powerful, we're not chosen, we're not loved, we're not supported. All those things will just keep repeating in our reality, and you will end up in that hamster wheel that I talk about. Right. And so I've been there, guys. You are not alone. Like I said, I find that I'm still kind of in between my old story and my new story with that, especially because I've had some events in this last year that have really, knocked me down. And I've had to really step into my power as a conscious creator really step into my I am state. And also too, guys, the thing that I've learned along this journey, as many years as I've been doing this, which has been a lot of years, right? I've learned that, when you're worrying, okay, you can't be in the knowing. Okay. When you're worrying, you can't have faith that in your power, right? You can't have faith in the God within you. Those things are like oil and water. They don't mix. They're like a puzzle that doesn't fit together. Okay. And just remember that, take that with you, that I can't worry and have faith in the God within me. I can't worry and be in my power. I can't worry and be in fear and be in the knowing at the same time. They just don't go hand in hand. So ask yourself, is this thing important enough for me to knock out? This thing that, fear, the story that I'm telling myself that's creating this thing, this fear, is it important enough for me to knock out? Do I want to keep living my story like this? Do I want to keep walking in this? The answer is going to be no, because, anxiety is uncomfortable. Panic attacks are uncomfortable. I know, like I said, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, right? And so I want to give you guys some tips on how to regulate yourself. And then I'm going to go into why it's important to regulate yourself. I mean, I already did, but meaning that I want to remind you guys that regulating yourself while you're trying to manifest anything is very important, because you have to remember that every person, place, experience is, being really conformed by you, and you're the transmitter. So if you're always in this anxious, fearful state, like I said, you can't worry and be in faith. You can't worry and be in knowing. And it's really important. I'll get into it now, I guess. It's really important because you are the transmitter. You really are. Your mind is a mirror, and it transmits out into your energy field, and everybody is getting our thoughts. None of our thoughts are private. Thought transmission is real, and it's instant, and it's always happening between everybody in your world. And so if you're always dysregulated, or if you're more dysregulated than not, then, that's being transmitted out, and people are getting your thoughts. And another thing is that, you have to remember that if we keep in that fear, right, and the worry and the unsteadiness, feeling very unstable, okay, then whatever we're trying to manifest, right, we keep reminding our subconscious, right, that we don't have that thing. Okay. We don't have that thing, and we're in the wanting, we're in the worry, we're in the fear state of we're never going to get it. Also too, you're telling your subconscious that you don't think that you're powerful enough to manifest this, right? You're not powerful enough to change this story. You're not powerful enough to flip this thing around, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, right? So let me give you guys some tips. I don't want to make this video too long, because I've talked about this in the past here and there. I've scattered it around the videos about regulating yourself and how important that is. But, the fact that our subscriber came to us and asked me to, talk about this, I wanted to bring it up again and remind you guys of how important it is to regulate yourself. Now, okay, a lot of times on my session, we get into this topic, because most people that come to me are in a state, if they've been working with me for a while, not so much, but if they're newer clients, they come to me in a state of anxiety, worry, fear, shakiness. They're not stable in their foundation. They don't feel like they're powerful. And I always give them, because I'm a meditation practitioner, I've got other degrees, so I give them a lot of things that I've learned along the way that have helped me, that have helped my other clients, to regulate yourself in this, right? It's not just about repetition, running around, affirming all day or scripting all day or whatever. Like I said, doesn't matter how you're calling this thing in. It's all the correct way, as long as you have the assumption that it's working for you. But if you're doing all that and you're dysregulated, you're counterbalancing it, you're counteracting it, right? So what I give my clients, because I always give you guys homework, or I have clients that always ask me for homework, what should I do, to stay steady until we meet again? And the one thing that I ask them is, are you more busy in your brain or your body? Okay. Meaning that, are your thoughts racing, which that's really, a lot of people have that issue, right? And I'm not going to say the majority, because everybody's different. But if my clients say, oh yeah, I'm in my head all the time, it's like a circus in here. I call it monkey chatter, right? The monkey brain. Or the second option is that, do you feel like you can't sit still? Your body is busy and you can't calm down. You're dysregulated in your body more than your brain, right? So you're kind of like frozen in your brain. You don't really know what you're thinking. You feel disconnected, and all these crazy things are happening. And that will happen. It kind of kicks off sometimes when we're trying to bring in something new, a new story. And maybe you have an old story that's been running for a very long time, maybe, even years and years. And it kind of kicks off this, you can get very dysregulated in your body and your mind, because you have a new story that you are implementing, and the subconscious, the brain, kind of goes a little haywire because it's been going down the same neural pathways for a very long time. And once we shake those things up, you can become dysregulated. Okay. And so that's the first question I ask is, do you feel like your brain is more busy or your body is more busy? Okay. And the tip that I can give you guys without going too far into it, right, is that if your brain is more busy, then drop in your body. Okay. Do something with your body. Okay. Move your body, even just a simple walk. Okay. And just do something with your body and calm in turn, it'll calm your brain down. Right. So you could do like, some yoga poses, very, very gentle yoga. You can do some regulation exercises, which I have a ton of those. Like I said, just a simple walk. But a lot of times what happens is that if our brain is really, really busy, a lot of times meditation doesn't help with that at first anyways, right? We have to drop in the body first and regulate the body, or sorry, the brain with the body, and get it connected again. And then we can go in with something like meditation. Okay. And then I always say that if my clients come back with the answer of, I feel like my body is very busy, I can't sit still, I feel like I'm frozen, I don't really even know what I'm thinking, but I can't sit still, I'm just very, very all over the place. I can't concentrate on a movie, I can't concentrate on a show. That doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm restless. Okay. Then meditation is going to help them, usually right away. Okay. But if that's the case, right, let's do something with the mind. So meditation, playing a simple game on your phone that you really enjoy and getting into it and getting up in levels, maybe playing a video game that you really enjoy, a regular video game. Just doing something with the mind, engaging the mind more. Scripting is also really, really good for this. So that's like what I give my clients. It's the opposite. Okay. So if your brain is really busy, drop into the body. If your body is restless, drop into the brain. Okay. And then once we get that calm and connected, then we can incorporate stuff like simple meditations, or listening to, different frequencies and all of that stuff. But all of that stuff really does help. It really does work. It really helps, and it really connects the mind and the body together. And you want that connection. You want that connection just in general. And especially when you're trying to manifest, once you're connected, everything is connected and everything is flowing and the energy is flowing, because we're all energy. Everything is energy, right? And we can't stop energy, and energy is never destroyed, and it's always moving. Once that energy is connected, then everything starts falling into place. And once you get your brain and body connection and it's strong, then it's easier for you to step into your power. It's so much easier to feel like you're grounded, 2 feet on the ground, right? That you feel connected and you feel like the energy is moving again like it should. It's flowing. And that will help you step in your power so, so much quicker. So those are my tips for you guys. Like I said, without having this video go long and getting into like a lot of grand detail, because there's just so many things that I go over in session, so many details about this, but it's such a good topic. And if you guys want, like a quick part 2 to this, or if you want some more detail, drop a comment below. I read them, or my staff reads them, and they'll get back to me and they'll let me know if I missed something. I'm happy to talk about the things that you guys want to hear about. I think that you guys know that by now about me. I try to bring you guys what you want to hear. So I hope that this video helped you guys. And I want to say that I intend that you guys all get everything that you desire. And like I say, you guys are powerful badasses, and keep on manifesting everything that you guys want, because you're entitled to it. And remember, never, ever, ever never knock yourself off the pedestal for anything that you're trying to manifest. Okay. Anxiety or not, I want you to stand in your power. And I want you to realize that even just having a story about anxiety, panic, about being unwell, about being unloved, not supported, about having like a PMS story, for every month. I talk to my clients about that too. That can bring about anxiety and depression and dysregulation and stuff. Remember that all of that is within your mind. It's the story that you're telling yourself about yourself, and it's all within your power to change it. So take that with you guys. And until next time, I will see you guys later, and take care. Bye, guys.